ready for some Rocky Mountain thunder. Anderson inside the 10, touchdown.
That is when Jake Plummer is at his best.
Beautiful sack.
He's something special.
Trevor Price says,
He is tough and he tackles.
Kennison breaks 2 tackles, breaks a third. Ebenezer Ecubon takes him down.
And this is Denver Bronco football right here.
And back in Denver on this very clear night. Temperature down around the 70-degree mark. Beautiful evening, capacity crowd. They've pretty much loved everything they've seen, John, to this point. Good first half for the Broncos, up 20-3 in a very important early season game.
Right, and the Broncos have been very impressive on both sides of the ball. I mean, offensively, I think Mike Shanahan has done everything he wanted to. Defensively, they have really impressed me. I mean, they've handled the line of scrimmage, and that's usually where the Kansas City Chiefs win the battle.
Here's Sam Ryan. Sam?
And Al, the Chiefs only with 3 points on the board. Dick Vermeil telling me our big problem, pass protection. He said we can't pass protect. We've got to do a better job on that. We're going to take holding penalties if we can't pass protect. Now keep in mind, 10-time Pro Bowl tackle Willie Roaf is out with that hamstring in third down conversion. Just 0-3, gentlemen.
0-for-3 as Darren Williams takes it back up to the 30. Well, I guess a coach, even if he's leading 20-3, he's got to find something, John. So he goes to third down conversions.
Well, you always do, because you want to accept the good and keep the good and correct the bad.
Total yardage, as you can see, not much disparity there, but in rushing yards, only 38 for Kansas City. I mean, with Holmes and Johnson, that's the bread and butter right there, and that's 15 carries, so they're averaging about 2.5 yards per tote.
And look at the Chiefs had 8 penalties.
Anderson stopped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down.
Yeah, I think the other thing that Dick Vermeil has to talk about is maybe giving Jordan Black some help over there on that side, because I mean, he just can't handle that pass protection. Maybe you have to keep a tight end in. Maybe you have to keep a back end to chip to do those kinds of things.
Offensive line awaiting their turn.
Jordan Black saying, what in the heck did I get myself into here tonight?
At altitude. And you got a flag because coming across from the right defensive end for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's the penalty right there, is called by Terry McCauley.
Offside, defense, number 53, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Chris Griffin.
Yeah, we were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs jumping in from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Here's a 3-4 right here. Nose tackle, 2 defensive ends, and 4 linebackers. And the thing that they're going to do, the Broncos, they just run straight at that. And did you see how Mike Anderson got the ball, made 1 cut, it just runs downhill? They do that as well or better than anyone.
Walter Cunningham was the head coach after Marty Schottenheimer left. Went to the head coach for 2 years, then went to Tennessee, and then brought back on Vermeil's staff as the defensive coordinator last year as Mike Anderson gets taken down by Jared Allen.
Jared Allen learned that move right there to come down the line in preschool. That was the first thing he learned. You go to the bench, you get off the bench, you go out there in the playground, and then you learn this. You get down in a 4-point stance, you just take an inside move and go right down the line of scrimmage and meet the ball carrier at that point where he's going.
Jared Allen had the first ever to list his preschool on his introduction. He went to college at Idaho State. And this is Mike Anderson busting one across the 50 to the Kansas City 49-yard line. That's a 14-yard gain.
Yeah, and that's another example of 1 cut and downhill. And this is what Mike Shanahan teaches, and this is what Mike Anderson does. Watch this. They get in the I formation. He's going to come right. There's a cut right there, and then just run the ball downhill. There's no other cuts after that. So Ron Dane says that was like coming back to Wisconsin when he came and got in this offense.
Fake to Dane. And then the pass is caught by Rod Smith. And Rod Smith gets rolled out of bounds, and flags come in from everywhere for a late hit.
Did you see what happens after you run like that, how you can affect the defense by faking a run? They faked the run to the right, and Jake Plummer bootlegged to the left.
Defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's Sammy Knight.
But they run and run. Now watch, they fake the run to the right. Now look what it does to this whole defense. The whole Chiefs defense is over here. Here's Jake Plummer with the ball back on this side. As I said earlier, there's no one that runs and throws the ball better than Jake Plummer. And when he can get out on an edge free like this and see like this, he is going to eat you up.
Crowd just finding out that Rod Smith has now gone over the 10,000-yard mark. 24th player to do that, but the first who was undrafted. Now you've got Dane. So here's Dane, a Heisman Trophy winner, #1 draft choice, still trying to make his mark. And Rod Smith, who played his college football at Missouri Southern, going over 10,000 yards. And you can look at the receiving records for undrafted receivers. The only record he doesn't hold is for touchdowns. Don Hudson, the great Packer, had 99. And the reason Hudson wasn't drafted, they didn't have a draft when Hudson came into the National Football League.
And Rod Smith has been doing this for 11 years. And you just look at Rod Smith, and the one word you think of is consistency.
And this is Cecil Sapp, the fullback, who gets into the action for the first time tonight as a receiver. And Jake Plummer loves that.
And this is classic Denver Bronco offense, when you go run downhill, and then fake run and bootleg, and then fake run again. You see the effect it has out here. All the Chiefs are over there. Again, Jake Plummer coming off to the right side all by himself. This is the thing, because I know what the Chiefs are thinking, and Gunther Cunningham, they're running on us. We got to pursue. We got to gang tackle. They start to show you that run. They all go to pursue, to gang tackle, and then boom, here's Jake Plummer out the back door.
Mike Anderson back in there. He fights his way about halfway to the goal line, just inside the 2. Greg Wesley up from the secondary for the stop. Mike Shanahan. We talk about time going by. 11 years now as the Broncos head coach. 11.
And they talk about, is Mike Shanahan going to be done here in Denver? Are they going to fire him? I don't know how you can. I mean, and again, I get back to this with Mike Shanahan and other very good coaches. In any way that you rate coaches, Mike Shanahan is in the top level.
Yeah, how long do you think he'd be out on the street? 2 minutes. Anderson. Oh, and that's a great saving tackle by Greg Wesley. At least for the moment, Wesley saving 7 points.
That was that old option flip. That was the 4th down play they ran last week to Ron Dane. It's the same thing. They fake to the fullback up the middle, and then they option or pitch it out to the tailback outside. As you say, Greg Wesley makes a great tackle. I mean, he goes to the point where there's no way that Mike Anderson is going to get in that end zone, and then takes him down.
And now timeout is going to be taken here by the Denver Broncos. Plummer going over to discuss things with Shanahan and Kubiak. And it will be 3rd down and goal when we come back.
Good seeing you, man. Always good to see you.
Oh, best friend. Give me one good reason why you do that.
How about a 6?
Hey!
Bud Light. Great taste for your great times.
Come on, baby. I think we lost him.
Everyone talks about how tough their truck is, how much it can haul. But when we build a truck, we like to think beyond the first load, to the second, the third, the fourth. That's why load after load, job after job, year after year, nothing stops a Tundra. Toyota trucks, moving forward.
Tomorrow, a woman will be president.
I'm going to take the oath of office.
Oscar winner Gina Davis takes charge, hails Life magazine.
If you want out, you tell me now.
The New York Times raves Emmy winner Donald Sutherland is superb.
Her vice presidency was never intended to be a presidency. It was done as a stunt.
And the Washington Post says it's the best new drama.
If you think that I am going to step aside, you are sorely mistaken.
Commander-in-Chief premieres tomorrow, 9/8 Central, followed by the season premiere of Boston Legal, only on ABC.
Monday Night Football from Denver, brought to you by Bud Light. Smooth and refreshing Bud Light, great taste for your great times. DirecTV, NFL Sunday Ticket only from DirecTV. And IBM, become an on-demand business. IBM can help. 20-3 Denver, trying to get to 27th Street, third down. And Dwayne Carswell is there, eligible receiver on a wing. Set him up in the backfield, provide leverage, and Anderson tries to burrow in and doesn't. He gets inside the 1.
Dwayne Carswell, number 77, is a guy that was a tight end. They moved him to guard and tackle, and then they bring him in on short yardage tight end situations. That time he was like the wing, and he's going to start in motion right there and lead. He gets a pretty good block. Looked like Mike Anderson kind of fell down. Yeah, he did. He kind of tripped on something before he got back to the line of scrimmage.
So 4th and goal. Not a lot of downside here. Even if you don't make it, Kansas City would have to go from the 1. They run the fake, and Plummer's going to take it himself. Line up tight, play fake, everybody goes to the middle, and the snake goes to the outside.
That's the advantage of having a quarterback that can run. This is what you call a naked. In other words, there's no blocker out there. They let everyone go to the right, and the only guy going to the left is Jake Plummer. There's no receivers out there. There's no blockers out there. There's no one else there. He just outruns the end man on the line of scrimmage to the defense.
That was Kendrell Bell, and he slipped as well to make it even easier. Elam for the point after. And the Broncos go down the field on the opening drive of the third quarter, going 70 yards in 10 plays, 8.5 to go in the third. 27-3 Denver.
Introducing the new 2006 Cadillac DTS. With the North Star V8 and the world's fastest reacting suspension system, you are in control. The new Cadillac DTS. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
Pro football. A game for the ear and the eye. A 3-hour carnival of color, sound, and action.
NFL Sunday Ticket provides the most NFL games anywhere, up to 200 in total, and it's only available from DirecTV.
For the player, victory makes the game glorious. For the fan, glory is the game.
Sign up now and get 4 free months of DirecTV's best programming package. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
.834 remaining in the third quarter. The Denver Broncos struck early, and they've struck often, and they lead 27-3 as they try to get to 2-1 in the AFC West. Mentioned earlier, big game for them if they were to lose tonight. they'd be 2 games down and will have lost to the team they were 2 games behind. Otherwise, they're even and will have beaten the team that they're contending with. Sauerbrun's kick, Dante Hall from the 3-yard line. And they're doing a great job bottling Dante Hall up tonight. He's killed him in the past. Keith Burns with the tackle and let you know about it. 27-3, Denver.
Self-defense, first rule, is 90% instinct. Like when I try to do this. Good. She covered. Now, what if I try to take your Bud Light?
Bud Light, great taste for your great times.
What's mine is mine.
I'm proud to be
part of the
I'm proud to be part of the
The offer that made history is about to be history. The GM employee discount is ending. Only 96 hours left. You pay what we pay, but only until Friday.
You the help desk?
What seems to be the problem, officer?
Traffic.
Traffic?
Traffic.
What do you need?
What do you got?
I got wireless sensors and congestion flow modeling.
What'll it do?
Cut down traffic.
Will it work?
Works.
Nice work.
Just doing my job. Have a nice day.
James Spader, William Shatner, Emmy winners 2 years in a row.
My country thanks me.
Tomorrow you'll see why.
Last man to make love to her died while doing so. I'll take my chances.
Guest star Heather Locklear, Boston Legal season premiere tomorrow, 10/9 Central, only on ABC.
We go to Charlotte, North Carolina for Monday Night Football next week. Brett Favre in action. Packers, Panthers. ESPN Sunday night. That'll be the first regular season NFL game ever played outside the United States. Arizona against San Francisco at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. And now Priest Holmes for Kansas City starts this drive. It's the first time they've had the ball in this half with a 6-yard run.
You know, Tony Gonzalez has only caught 2 passes for like 11 yards. And I think that the Chiefs either have to do one or 2 things. You either figure a way to get the ball to Tony Gonzalez, or you say if they're taking them away with 2 or 3 or 4 guys, then there has to be guys open. I mean, you have to find plays in other area if they're overcompensating for Gonzalez.
2nd down and 4. We're going to move Gonzalez in motion to the left. Lead him in the block. Give it to Holmes, who turns it back upfield. And Priest with a nice run up to the 42-yard line. Prior to that run, Kansas City was averaging 2.8 yards a rush and 3.9 yards per pass play.
Right, and it scores 27-3, and you think, you know, why didn't you start out this way? I mean, this is a Kansas City type of thing, you know, where you just get the ball and you give it to Priest Holmes and you let him run with that offensive line. Again, you know, we have to say Willie Rofe isn't in there, and that's not a great offensive line now because you don't have 2 strong tackles that they've had over the years.
17-yard gain for Priest on that play. 1st and 10 now, up at the 42-yard line. And Green finds the open man, and that will be Eddie Kennison's 6th catch of the night, taken down at the 40-yard line of Denver. Here's Sam.
Well, the update on Champ Bailey. He's out for the game. That left hamstring strain that was suffered late in the first half. And this 5-time Pro Bowler, as we recall, went to the locker room before the half was over. When the team returned for the second half, he was not out. His night is done, Al. He's done, and of course, we talked about his dislocated shoulder in game 1, but he came back to play last week. Had the key play of the game, but now they have to worry about him. They go to Jacksonville next Sunday. 1st and 10 from the 40. Green stepping away. Flag is thrown. He's got a man at the 22-yard line. That's Tony Gonzalez, who makes the catch, but a penalty.
And you see who it was?
10-yard penalty. 1st down.
You know, it's Trevor Price again, and no matter who's trying to block him, that time it was a backup tight end. It was Jason Dunn. And you see now that Kevin Sampson is playing right tackle, so they know that they have to do something. So they're keeping the tight end in there, and he just splits the tight end and the tackle and gets back there. He gets that penetration, just keeps going. And, of course, when he split it, the only way they could stop that split was by holding him.
And that's done with a hold, and that's 11 penalties for 100 yards. 100 penalty yards for Kansas City tonight.
I think that's what they had to do, not hold, but get the tight end involved a little in pass protection.
First down and 20. Holmes, gain of 4. Second and 16 next.
You see, you know why people always say that, you know, you have to run, you have to stop the run, but you get big chunks in the passing game. And when Kansas City started to run, and they had a couple runs, then they could go play action pass and hit a couple of those things. Then they get a penalty, and now they're in long yardage situations where you can't run nor play action pass.
Going to try Kevin Sampson at right tackle, see if that works. Second and 16, empty backfield, which compels you to throw quickly, and they do to Gonzalez. And that'll take it to the 39-yard line, and he's banged down there by John Engelberger, former 49er.
Watch John Engelberger here. He's in the left side of the screen, and he's just going to come off. He's up like he was going to be a pass rusher, and then he's coming across the field to take away that slant. He's coming where he has the junction, and he's going to meet at that point. A defensive end doing that kind of thing.
Third down and 9. Pressure again, and that forces Green to just throw it away because John Lynch on the safety blitz had nobody there, comes in unblocked, and it's all Green could do.
Watch John Lynch. They brought 8 men up. John Lynch is the outside guy right here, normally the safety, but a very good blitzer, and anyone is a very good blitzer when no one blocks you. Yeah. I mean, he gets a free run at Trent Green. Trent Green is throwing to that side. He sees Lynch coming. That's the only thing he can do.
Dustin Colquitt to punt. His 5th of the night. And it will go out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Denver has it 4.5 to go as we conclude week 3 of the 2005 season. Bronx by 24.
Keys. Daniela, open the trunk, please. Stop, real.
120 not-so-standard features. One all-new German-engineered Passat.
Smooth from the first taste. Refreshing every single time. The great taste of Bud Light. The summer is calling, and so are the friends. Bud Light. Great taste for your great times.
Alias. The new season begins Thursday at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
Well, our pal Michelle Tafoya is on maternity leave, but watching the game, and here's her couch report. Didn't expect Cadillac Williams to be this good this soon. Neither did Miami. I would agree with that. Bigger surprise, Miami at 2-1, or Green Bay at 0-3. I think the Dolphins at 2-1. Who can blame Vermeil for crying tonight to this point? So Michelle is on the couch, emailing, and doing just great. Give birth probably in the middle of November.
Yep, and the best of luck, and I hope she's enjoying this because she deserves it.
Yep. And this way you keep, the after health plan going. Michelle emails every week, part of the crew.
But Vermeil's not going to be crying. I mean, he still has some work to do in this game. You know, somewhere you have to make something happen, and your offense isn't doing it. Your kicking game isn't. Maybe you get a turnover or something.
Denver now starts this drive with a Mike Anderson 3-yard run. He's tackled by Jared Allen.
You know, but Denver's probably just thinking the opposite. Hey, with a 27-3 lead, we don't have to do anything stupid. You know, let's just protect the ball. We don't have to force anything. But Mike Shanahan isn't a guy that just sits on a lead either. I mean, he is a very, very aggressive play caller.
It's never been his nature to be conservative. Mike winning back-to-back Super Bowls in John Elway's last 2 years. But since then, the Broncos have gone 6 seasons without winning a postseason game. They've been to the playoffs on 3 occasions as Plummer throws it to the outside. And that's caught by Rod Smith. And Rod Smith able to turn and then pick up the first down as he's done so adroitly through the seasons. Patrick Surtain made the tackle.
Yeah, I think that the Denver Bronco offense really has the Kansas City Chief defense off balance now because they're guessing. You know, if they overplay the run, they pass. If they overplay the pass, they run. You know, and then they fake the run, and then they bootleg, and then they think they're going to bootleg, and they contain, and then Jake Plummer just drops back. They really have this defense off balance.
Good balance tonight for Denver with 19 runs and 16 passes. And the 20th run is Mike Anderson on a first down, picking up a 1.5 yards or so. 3 minutes to go in the period.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about here, how they keep you off balance and the things that they do. They fake the run, and then look how it keeps the defense all over on one side. Jake Plummer gets out wide open. Here you can just see him again hand it. Now that they don't know. I mean, do they contain or do they play Jake Plummer? Here they are all over on this side. Here comes Jake Plummer out the back door.
And now Tatum Bell has come into the game, and this will be his first carry of the night. So we have seen Anderson, we have seen Dane, and this is Tatum Bell, second year out of Oklahoma State, bothered with an ankle sprain, but a guy who at the beginning of training camp some people thought could wind up and might eventually wind up someday as the starter here.
Yeah, but he's the change of pace. You know, he's the speed guy. We talk about Mike Anderson and Ron Dane. They're going to pound you. They're going to take that one cut and run downhill. Now Tatum Bell, he has some speed and he can run.
From the 34-yard line, here's Bell again to the 37. Jared Allen makes the tackle. Under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Remember when Clinton Portis was running here for the Denver Broncos, they had that, you know, one cut and downhill, and he wasn't. I mean, he was the type of back that would take one cut, then take another, then take another, then take a third, and then go downhill. And I think Tatum Bell has a little more of Clinton Portis in him than he does either Mike Anderson or Ron Dane.
2-to-1 ratio on the ground. Second and 8. Bell on a toss. Third straight run. First down. Exhibits some of that speed. Pushed out by Wesley into Kansas City territory.
Yeah, that's that option play that they used on fourth down last week, to Ron Dane. They tried it on the goal line. It was just short, but watch this. They're going to fake to the fullback to the right side and then pitch out to the halfback to the left side. And it's really the same thing as a bootleg. You know, that someone on that side has to have containment. It was Jared Allen. I mean, he was a defensive end. Now he has to contain the bootleg or that option play.
24-yard gain. The Broncos are averaging 6.6 yards per rush tonight. To the right on a roll. And that pass is caught by Steven Alexander, with much traveled tight end. Now in his 8th year, played last year for Detroit, and that's a gain of close to 9.
You know, and that's what the Broncos are going to do now, is just run the ball, and then fake the run and bootleg. I mean, it's been successful against the Chiefs all night, and it's the type of thing that has been keeping this defense off balance.
Third quarter looked much like the first two tonight, as the Broncos will let the clock run down. That will be the end of the third quarter in Denver. The Denver Broncos 27 and the Kansas City Chiefs 3. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message from our ABC stations.
Ahman Green, Brett Favre and the Packers head to Carolina to battle Steve Smith and the Panthers. Monday Night Football, next Monday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC.
This is your typical Sunday in Green Bay. Crickets. Things were a lot busier when everybody's racing to get to the game. That's probably a citation. Looks like Schutze found himself a Sunday stick out there. A criminal could pick this town clean when the Packers are playing. Well, if it weren't for me. Let's move along there, fella. Probably a Bears fan.
This man is intoxicated. He was on his way to buy bulk pickles when he saw this plasma screen. Immediately, his love of technology kicked in, impairing his judgment, leading him to believe he was getting a better price on this TV, and that it was okay to buy it in the same place he buys giant tubs of mayonnaise. He is clearly intoxicated. Ultimate Electronics can help. You won't pay more for expert advice and top-quality products. Soundtrack is now Ultimate Electronics.
What drives you? Is it getting the most out of your Toyota? Let's go! How about innovative features like the Tacoma Deck Rail Utility System or 4Runner with the Star Safety System Standard? Now get great deals like $2,250 customer cash or 0% APR financing on the 05 V8 4Runner. Or get $2,000 customer cash on all 05 Tundras, including double cab. And be sure to check out the all-new 06 Toyotas. Come on, come on. What drives you? Toyota innovation. Now that's moving you forward.
Nice now, but a midweek storm. I'll have more after the game.
Denver, Colorado, and Vesco Field at Mile High. We start the fourth quarter. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Sam Ryan on a night that has belonged from beginning to now to the Denver Broncos. 27-3. It's second down and 1. They start at the Kansas City 30-yard line, and they have a first down here as Kyle Johnson, the fullback, gets the carry. Jake Plummer inside out.
The actress I'd most want to do a love scene with is Selma Hayek. Walter Payton was my idol growing up. iTunes is where I spend most of my time on the internet. The thing I remember most about my first kiss was taking off as the recess bell rang after I kissed her.
Man has good taste.
The old mother running the recess bell.
A floater is Smith, flag thrown, and Smith takes another shot. Remember, he had limped off earlier in the first quarter, and he took a wallop here and is still down, and Plummer's going to get into it with Allen.
Well, because there's a penalty back there for roughing Jake Plummer, and that was against Allen. Allen hit him after he threw it. But I'll tell you, there's something with Rod Smith over on that side, Al, because like 5 trainers or doctors just ran across the field.
Well, it's Rod Smith, and he will draw a crowd of trainers.
Goodbye, TV. DLP picture technology is here. It'll change the way you see HD TV. DLP technology from Texas Instruments. Be sure your next TV has it.
It didn't come gentle into the world. Blacked out. Born with 2 fists in the wind. The new 6-speed Dyna Street Bob motorcycle. Let there be dark. Ride one now at your Harley-Davidson dealer.
Your SUV is designed to go off-road, but sometimes the off-road comes to you. Introducing the new Goodyear Forterra with silent armor technology, made with SUV drivers in mind. A layer made with Kevlar means the Forterra is tough and rugged, and extra cushioning means the Forterra rides quietly and comfortably. The new Goodyear Forterra with silent armor technology. Go confidently on the wings of Goodyear.
From the executive producer of The X-Files comes a new thriller.
Okay, now you're freaking me out.
Something terrible is happening. Night Stalker premieres Thursday night 8 Central only on ABC.
Rod Smith just sat up about 10 seconds ago, but he's still down on the ground. He took a shot. Derek Johnson got him first, and then Sammy Knight came in, and it looked like Sammy Knight got him with a helmet.
Yeah, you're going to see, there's Johnson there, there's Sammy Knight right there, helmet to helmet. And that was the one. That was the second time today that Rod Smith has walked off the field dinged.
Yeah, he was the recipient of a personal foul. He was hurt on a catch very early on. Dexter McClingan got him. And that's the kind of response you're going to get when you've been here for 11 years and you've caught more than 10,000 yards worth of passes, and you go to work and you just go about your business. Consummate pro, and Rod Smith with the ovation as he walks back to the Bronco bench.
Right, and when you think Mr. Bronco now, Mr. Bronco is Rod Smith. You could just see all those players run over there when he went down. Boy, there was a lot of concern for Rod Smith.
So Smith got the first down. He'll take a rest. It's first and goal at the 8-yard line. Anderson gets 2. He takes it to the 6-yard line.
And remember, on that play, there was a penalty on Jared Allen. He roughed Jake Plummer after he threw that, so that's why the ball is down here.
Current drive. Almost 6 minutes. They're working on Smith. Vermeil took over in 2001, and there's an injured Chief right now. This is the most penalty yardage for a Vermeil coach Kansas City team, with 108 yards marched off. They work on Eric Hicks.
Verizon Wireless welcomes you in, sweet.
You can now call any of our customers.
Customers as much as you want.
And text and pick them too.
Now that you're officially
in?
Celebrate.
Get in. Only Verizon Wireless offers unlimited in-calling plus unlimited text and picks for just $5 more a month. And when you buy an LG camera phone, you'll get an LG Color flip phone free. Join in and make calls on the nation's most reliable wireless network. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Imagine you're an NFL quarterback. It's snowing. You're down by 6. Playoff spots on the line. You're on the road. Your thumb is throbbing. You see the blitz coming. Still think you can play quarterback?
Madden NFL 2006.
Rated E for everyone.
Now on PSP, PlayStation Portable. EA Sports. It's in the game.
The front and rear pillars of the F-150 are insulated with heat-activated foam to reduce noise, making it as quiet as a luxury vehicle. A luxury vehicle that can tow 9,900 pounds.
Next on 7 News, more Denver sports fans want to limit alcohol at games, and they're gaining support. And the fate of in-store liquor tastings, the decision is in. Then, our very own Lionel Bienvenu shares his personal return to his hometown of New Orleans. 7 News is next.
Eric Hicks, okay. Sit out at least a play. You have to. If you get an injury timeout. And back we come to second and goal at the 5-yard line. Mike Anderson is the running back. Takes the toss. Slips down, no gain. 3rd down and goal. Kawika Mitchell in on the stop.
Looks like they didn't tell George Foster what the play was. He was a right tackle, and he was pulling out in front. He never blocked anyone. Mike Anderson had to run right by him. I mean, usually when that tackle pulls out, when you pull him, then he has to turn. We're talking about, running downfield. He has to get there and turn. And he never get turned. Well, he got bumped a little coming off the line of scrimmage. That's what happened to him. So he looked like he was out there and didn't block anyone, but he just got out there late.
3rd down and goal. And now Plummer's going to come to the sideline. A direct snap to Anderson. But Kansas City is not fooled at all. And there's a flag down at the 9-yard line.
Yeah, they should have had a play where they threw it out here to Jake Plummer because no one covered him.
Yeah. And he has great hands. We know that because he's the holder. Illegal shift.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 16. Went under center. Did not set as a back while he's in motion. Penalties decline. 4th down.
He was too anxious.
Is okay. He never put his hands up there. I don't know what he has to set.
Yeah, it's a little pat on the tush.
Yeah. No, yeah. He could go in motion as long as he didn't go forward.
And so instead
anyway,
of
the play didn't work anyway.
Didn't work, and now Jason Elam gets a chance to make it 3 for 3. This will be a 25-yard attempt, and Jake Plummer to hold. And that one is just good inside the left upright. 3 more for the Bronx. 30-3.
Enterprise rent-a-car for our trip?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Even airports.
See? Airports, too.
Hello, welcome to Enterprise. Let me help you with that. Wow, the friendly service of Enterprise is everywhere.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
2 letters, TV. Simple, right? Except these days there's HD TV, ED TV.
We could get an LCD TV.
If we don't get help, we'll end up with NOTV.
I guess you're just what I need. The Extreme TV Makeover is going on now at Circuit City. All digital TVs $499 and up are on sale now. Plus no interest for 24 months on all TVs $499 and up. Circuit City.
Get the movie that's fun for everyone.
Yeah!
Na, 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 na. Whoops, Robin Williams is back.
Stick with me, I know this town like the back of my hand. Hey, that's new.
Robots on DVD tomorrow.
I didn't know I could do that.
So what's different about Budweiser Select? Good question. First, we start with a blend of the finest hand-selected North American and Bavarian hop varieties picked straight from the vine. Then we take the time to brew Budweiser Select longer. So you get a beer with light beer stats and a distinct bold taste that finishes clean. So why settle for anything less? Be selective.
The president has had a stroke.
25th Amendment would kick in. The vice president assumes the presidency.
This is not the time for a woman as the leader of the free world.
I promise you, you are sorely mistaken.
Commander-in-Chief premieres tomorrow, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
And Plummer's going to take it himself.
That's the advantage of having a quarterback that can run.
Jake Plummer can run, and tonight through the air, he's 13 out of 17 for 152, and his ball club is up by 27 early in the 4th. Sauerbrunn's kick will go through the end zone. Well, and a half to go in the 4th quarter. Dante Hall given no opportunity to run that back, and he has done no damage tonight.
It's the strongest full-size pickup, and the only one to earn both government 5-star and IIHS Best Pick front crash ratings. Only one truck earned the right to be called F-150.
Sorry, guys. There's only one man I go to McDonald's with. I'm loving it.
36 hours ago, $10 million was stolen from an armored car that was found at the Hoover Dam.
What's the word on the street?
Where's my money?
Your money's gone.
My bounty hunters will track down these thieves.
Where's the money?
They'd walk away with $10 million in cash.
This is an inside job.
All we want is the money.
Domino, rated R, starts Friday, October 14th. Wednesday, the fate of all will be revealed.
Lower your gun.
Winner of 6 Emmys, including Best Drama.
Where's Kate?
Lost, all new after the Encore season premiere. Wednesday starting at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
That college game was played tonight. It was postponed from Saturday because of Hurricane Rita. LSU had a 21-0 lead, but Tennessee comes back, and the Vols beat them in overtime in Baton Rouge. Now Green throws to Holmes, and Ian Gold runs him down, but not until Priest picks up a first down up at the 31. And Kansas City down by 27, going without a huddle.
Of all the things that Priest Holmes does, I mean, he's a good inside runner, he's a good blocker, short yards. He's also a good receiver in these checkdowns.
And that's incomplete as they go to Dante Hall. It'll be second down.
But when you're down 30-3, you need a heck of a lot more than checkdowns, don't you?
Check-ups is what you need. None in the first 2 games. He's never played 3 games in a row in the NFL without throwing a TD pass. So that could happen tonight. But Dick Vermeil's team, even with a loss tonight, would still be 2-1 and tied for the top spot in the AFC West with Denver. Green to Holmes. Priest, first down, plenty more to the 45-yard line of Denver. And Darren Williams makes the tackle there, again without the huddle now.
Trent Green got rid of that ball just in time. John Lynch was coming on a safety blitz, and he was just ready to unload on Trent Green, and Trent Green unloaded it to Priest Holmes.
Pump fake, and then the pass is incomplete. Try to get it to Eddie Kennison deep downfield. Nick Ferguson with the coverage.
You notice that every time they mention Eddie Kennison here, the fans boo.
They hate him.
It's kind of like yesterday in San Diego with Eli Manning.
Kennison, the night before a game a couple of years ago, told Mike Shanahan, I don't want to play anymore. Okay, you're gone. Next thing you know, he signs with Kansas City.
Mike Shanahan also informed him that you have to give back the bonus if you quit. Yep. And then Eddie Kennison said, oh, I want to come back.
Well, wait a second. I got to find a job.
Mike wouldn't let him come back.
Holmes. Now Wilson is there. Priest had nowhere to go. So if Kansas City goes down to defeat, the only unbeaten teams remaining would be Cincinnati and Indianapolis in the AFC, and Tampa Bay and Washington in the NFC. Skins had a bye this weekend. Third down and 10. Green turns the shoulders to buy time, and the pass sails high. And back in coverage that time was Al Wilson, and there's a flag down on the other side of the field at the 41-yard line.
And you see who was back there again was Trevor Price, and that was why Trent Green.
Defense, number 35. 5-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Lenny Walls.
Lenny Walls was the guy that was replaced by Darren Williams because Mike Shanahan says he just hasn't been playing consistently. And so he replaced him, and he became the nickel guy. You know, he got his hands on Sammy Parker, but it looked like Sammy Parker just rolled down himself. Look at Trevor Price. I mean, they're doing everything to block him. One guy, 2 guys, tight ends, everything. He's splitting them and still getting to Trent Green.
You can see why Walls was so upset. There goes Price again, and that pass is incomplete. Price is right tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, he has been all over. I mean, it hasn't only been on pass rush, but he's also made some great plays in the running game. You know, Kansas City trying to get to those edges. Trevor Price not letting them. They try everything to hit. I mean, they have him double teams, and then he splits them, and they hold him. He's been making plays up and down the line all night. Very, very impressive.
Missed most of last year. Was hurt. Talked about, I thought he might not be back this year because of the salary. Pressure on again. Price is in the middle of the action, but that sack's going to be credited to Gerard Warren, number 61, and Ekubon is there as well.
They're going after him now. Al Wilson, you'll see the middle linebacker. He's going to come right up the middle. See, here comes Al Wilson here, and he delays just a little. And that is enough to make the back, Larry Johnson, turn to the outside, and then he gets a free run right at Trent Green.
3rd down 16. And that pass is short. Intended for Gonzalez. Ian Gold knocking it down.
And we talk about the Denver Bronco offense keeping the Kansas City defense off balance. This Denver defense has also done a job of keeping this Kansas City offense off balance.
Now Dustin Colquitt, whose brother is the freshman punter for Tennessee. His father, Craig, was the punter on 2 of the Steeler championship teams. Just a punting family, a crazy punting family, and that one is dropped, muffed, but recovered by the Broncos as Dominique Foxworthy, the rookie, makes the recovery after the Charlie Adams muff. Denver ball.
My name is Izzy Paskowitz, and I've been running surf camps for autistic kids for 7 years. We get them down to the beach. The kids are going to scream. Some of the kids, they don't know how to speak. The only words that come out of their mouth is screaming. What's perfect for us is to see that screaming and the kicking when they go out. And when they turn around and ride that wave in, it's just nothing like it. And there's the parents, the tears in their eyes, saying, man, we've had a lot of tough times, but today was just a perfect day.
What if everything we fear
There's something in there.
is real?
Okay, now you're freaking me out.
Night Stalker premieres Thursday, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
With a blitz, he fumbles the ball, and the Eagles have it, and it's Brian Dawkins.
That's where he is so tough.
Dick's going to run it. 1st down, and a lot more.
I think we saw the 2 best teams in the NFC.
Going deep, and the pass is caught for a touchdown by Santana Moss. Brunel going deep for Moss again. He makes the catch, and Santana Moss for a touchdown. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Touchdown. Touchdown to Rod Smith.
This is classic Denver Bronco offense.
Some of the action first 3 weeks, the 36th season of Monday night, and the Denver Broncos trying to wrap up the win here up by 27. Have the ball 1st and 10. Mike Anderson, their workhorse, carries for the 18th time.
You know, and this is an example of why you can't jump to conclusions too early in the season. I mean, you look at the Denver Broncos, they go down to Miami, and they look terrible. And everyone thought Miami wouldn't be very good. Denver was going to be very good, and they beat them. They think, oh, geez, the Broncos are nothing. But it's still just one game. And then they beat San Diego, and they didn't look very good against San Diego. But tonight they come in here, and they look like a top AFC team.
Yeah, I mean, from 1 week to the next, you have no idea what's going on.
And I don't think you're going to know until about halfway through the season about the 8th game.
If then, actually, Lallee on the end around. And Lallee with the presence of mind to skirt the sideline and remain in bounds and keep the clock going on a 39-yard run to the 41-yard line.
Didn't they start the game with this play?
Yes.
I think they did a reverse to Ashley Lilly. You see, they fake again. Once you get that running game going, you can do so many things off it. We saw him, run the ball. Then we saw him fake the run and bootleg. And that way, that play there, they faked the run and end around to Ashley Lilly. He's their speed guy. But if they're going to get big plays and do things like deep passes and reverses and those kinds of things, it's going to be him.
Started the game with a 17-yard run on a similar play. 199 rushing yards for Denver. Anderson, no gain here. Sam.
Well, Al, on a career night for Rod Smith, he is out of the game with a concussion. Now, I spoke with him over the weekend. He told me at 35 years old, hey, I'm still learning from another number 80. He learned from Jerry Rice during the preseason. He said he really picked his brain about longevity. I asked Rod, what's the key to longevity for you? He said, taking care of my body. He said, I work out every day, even during the offseason, even eating healthy. He said he used to eat 6 or 7 candy bars a day, believe it or not. He's cut that down to 1, but Rod Smith out of the game, Al.
I can't believe Rod Smith was eating 6 to 7 candy bars.
He sounds like Sam.
Here is Anderson. So, we always talked about Terrell Owens and how chiseled he is, and very few guys. I mean, he looks like an Adonis. I mean, and he loves to show it off too. We had a couple of meetings with him when he was with the 49ers, and he'd bring in a bag of potato chips. I go, this is impossible. It can't be.
When they're young, they can do that. And Sam was just talking about longevity with Rod Smith and with Jerry Rice. The older you get, the harder you have to work. And then the older you get, the more attention you have to pay to diet. And when these guys, like you take a Darren Williams, I mean, he's probably had 3 hamburgers today for a 3-game meal.
Ron Dane for a gain of 1.
But then, as they get older, then they start making more money, and then they realize, hey, I want longevity because I want to keep making this money.
Right, and you've built up such a base because you've gotten, a lot of money through the years, and you become a long-time veteran, and then it's like, wait a second. Do I want to play for a couple of million or go back to the real world and go to work?
No, and, as long as they can play, they're going to play. In fact, we asked Mike Shanahan last night about Jerry Rice. Do you think he would play again? He said if someone called Jerry Rice and was going to play him, he'd be back in a minute.
2nd and 8. And that pass is underthrown. Lee had gotten by McLean. Wesley came over to help out. Incomplete.
Sometimes they tell a quarterback, put a little air under that one. Jake Plummer put too much air under that one. He should have thrown it a little more in a line.
Even at altitude.
Ashley Lilly has him. And he just throws a lob up there. And Lilly, well, oh, geez, that was a terrible lob. I mean, he was 5 yards behind him. I thought he just threw it too high. He threw it too short. That was a bad throw. And Jake is going to look at that and say, where in the heck did that one come from?
What happened? 3rd and 8. 29-yard line. And Plummer quite looked like a design play there.
No, I know what that was. That's the old rule. If you miss a handoff, you follow where the ball was going to go. And that's exactly what he did. He must have missed that handoff, but the ball was a run to the right, so he just followed those 2 backs right in there.
Now you're looking at Bradley Van Pelt, number 11. He is the only other quarterback on the Bronco roster, and he is a first-year player out of Colorado State who's never taken an NFL snap.
He may get one tonight.
A good time for it.
Remember his dad, Brad Van Pelt, was a linebacker for the New York Giants.
War number 10. 46-yard field goal hits the upright. So Elam misses this one. And he's 3 out of 4. 30-3. Denver.
Orders received and understood. Search and destroy.
We got movement up ahead.
What the hell's down here?
5:58 remaining in the 4th quarter. At the 36-yard line, Kansas City with Trent Green trying to mount something. Dante Hall, short gain. Lynch makes the tackle.
One of the things the Chiefs are going to have to do offensively is do more on the outside, work the outside of the field, because their strength is their running game, the inside of their offensive line, and their tight end, and that's the way defenses play them.
Here's Kennison. Well, this has been a house of horrors for Dick Vermeil. You go back over his coaching career, all the years at Philadelphia, then to St. Louis, then to Kansas City. He has never lost a game by more than 25 points. Never. Tonight he's down by 27. And that pass is incomplete. Lenny Wall's busting it up, intended for Sammy Parker.
You know, coming in here at 2-0, he was really feeling pretty good about his team. I mean, you know, he thought we always have offense. I mean, no matter what happens, we have the offense. We'll score a lot of points. We went out. We helped our defense. We have better players now. And then their offense, you know, brings 3 points.
And you go back home and say, huh? Philadelphia goes to Kansas City next Sunday. That's no picnic. On 4th and 1, Johnson picks up the first down. Champ Bailey with that hamstring pull.
You know, if that's a pulled hamstring, that's going to be tough on Champ Bailey. I mean, the dislocated shoulder, you know, you can put a harness on it and just kind of tough your way through that, which he did. You cannot tough your way through a pulled hamstring.
From the 47. Johnson wrestled down at the Denver bench.
You know, we were talking earlier about Champ Bailey and, you know, and that cover corner thing, and you don't hear that term much anymore. You know, I don't know who the cover corners are, but at one time it was a real positive thing, and then when you talk to a Champ Bailey, it gets to be a negative thing. He said, you know, don't call me a cover corner, because that means you're not complete. And with all this cover two and all these formations that they're giving you offensively, they can always make that corner have to support.
I think he's overthought the definition. And Lynch, well, there's no question that Dante Hall heard John Lynch coming. You can see him flinch before Lynch even got there.
John Lynch is a hidden safety. You have cover corners and you have hidden safeties. Maybe there's no more cover corners, but I'll tell you, there are still hidden safeties, and this guy is one of them. I mean, John Lynch always zeroes in and brings a load.
3rd and 4, and that pass is short. And Trent Green can't wait to forget about this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
too many nights like this.
It's one of those things that is just so bad that all you can do is laugh about it.
Yeah.
You know, and again, he never got in any rhythm, and you know, and part of it was, you know, his offense didn't get him in any rhythm, and part of it was this Denver defense is a lot better, I think, than the Kansas City Chiefs thought.
Price has had a big night. Ian Gold's had his moments. John Lynch, as usual. Champ Bailey before he got hurt.
I think that Darren Williams, that rookie, I think he's played a heck of a game.
He has an Al Wilson. And again, Price gets into the face of Green. Gonzalez makes the catch. And they do convert to the 40-yard line. First down with 4:20 remaining.
I think Trevor Price is going to make All-Pro here tonight. I mean, they've done everything to him. I mean, that's Will Shields there. I mean, he was playing defensive left tackle that time, not end, and he was over Shields. That's the second time that he beat Will Shields tonight.
That's Will Shields of 10 Pro Bowls. Gonzalez can't get there, covered by Lynch. Flag.
Trent Green's just trying to throw anything up.
First down.
I bet they were holding Price.
Yeah.
You know, they tried everything. I mean, they've singled him. They've blocked him with guards. They've blocked him with tackles. They brought a tight end. They've doubled him. They've done everything, and then they've held him a lot. This time it's number 54, Brian Waters. You see, he just grabs him. I think every offensive lineman on that Kansas City team has a hunk of Trevor Price's jersey.
118 penalty yards and 13 penalties tonight assessed against Kansas City as Larry Johnson takes it over the left side.
Yeah, this is one of these things, and Dick Vermeil was talking about it the other night, that, you know, you can't get too excited when you win, and you can't get too down when you lose, because nothing is as good as you think it is when you win, nor is it as bad as you think it is when you lose. But I think he's going to look at this and be pretty frustrated, because in all areas they couldn't get anything going tonight.
Do you spend a lot of time looking at this, or do you just say forget about that, let's move on?
Well, you have a short week, so you have to forget about it and move on. I mean, that's what Bill Parcells had to do last week with the Dallas Cowboys, and you know, they came from behind yesterday and beat the San Francisco 49ers, but you don't have a long time there. You know, it's a short period, so you have to correct it, get it over with, and get on.
3rd down 15 from the 45. And Green, and this time he has Kennison. Crowd will boo him. Eddie Kennison to the 21-yard line, so they convert again. Kansas City trying to get into the end zone. At least once, consolation touchdown.
It was one of the times that Trent Green was able to step up and throw the ball. I mean, the other time it seems like he's been moving backwards or sideways because of that pressure this defense has been putting on.
To the outside, and that is caught for a touchdown, and that is Kennison. That's a great grab. So Eddie Kennison does get into the end zone, and Kansas City with its first touchdown of the game, a 21-yard pass.
Foxworthy is number 22. It's going to be interesting to see if he did get in here, Al. He catches that ball. He's down by no, he didn't get in.
Didn't get in.
Nope, the ball didn't cross the plane.
Shanahan's going to throw the flag. And they'll challenge this and probably win the challenge, and then Kansas City will have a 1st and goal.
Denver has challenged the ruling on the field that the player scored a touchdown.
Mike Shanahan doesn't want to give Eddie Kennison a touchdown.
No, he doesn't. Neither does the crowd. And he doesn't have one just yet.
Orders received and understood. Search and destroy.
We got movement up ahead.
What the hell's down here?
Doom, rated R. They are the kings and queens, the potentates of the road. We recognize them by their restless wing-tipped feet. We support them with new, thicker mattresses and lay the freshest fine white linens at their feet, an offering of respect. Our beds, ourselves, we've changed it all for them. Rest well, my liege. Rest well.
Emmitt Smith joins Rich Eisen and the Total Access crew. NFL Total Access, only on NFL Network.
You know, we're looking at the replays during commercial, and you know what's going to come Dick Vermeil's way? Not only does Kennison not get in, I think they're going to rule this an incomplete pass. Because you're going to see the ball's going to hit the ground here. So they're going to look to see whether he got into the end zone, and if they see this, which they should, then they're going to say not only is it not 1st and goal at the 1, the pass is incomplete. From that angle, you can't tell. From the other angle, you can see the ball hit the ground.
I don't think even from that angle, I don't think he caught it. I think the ball hit the ground. And I know the ball hit the ground here because I can see it.
Right.
And you're right. I think the challenge was going to be just to take the touchdown away.
Right.
And then I think they're going to find something else in their stocking.
Is that what Vermeil wanted to find in his stocking?
The worst thing to find in your stocking were apples and walnuts.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you wanted toys.
Yeah, you're right.
You want apples and walnuts.
Right. Nothing healthy anyway. Junior mints would be okay.
After review, the ball went through the receiver's arms and hit the ground without control. It was an incomplete pass. It will be 2nd and 10. On the Denver 21, Denver is not charged a team timeout.
Yeah, that's a bonus. No touchdown and not even a completion.
The score is 30-3, but you still have to say that was a heck of a challenge.
That was. That's a lump of coal in Vermeil stocking.
And there's no way that Mike Shanahan was challenging that. What did he say? Are you kidding me?
No, I know. That had to be the last thing they were thinking about on the Kansas City sideline.
No, I mean, Eddie Kennison thought, well, I have a touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's okay. It's still going to be at the half-yard line.
First
I just
and
won't
goal.
get a touchdown. And then they're back here at the 21.
And he would have had another catch. He's over 100 yards receiving tonight. 2nd and 10. And Green, and that pass is incomplete and low, intended for Sammy Parker.
Green's been throwing so much, it looks like his arm is tired.
Yeah.
Because he had protection that time. You know, in those two before, Trevor Price was out of the game. On this one here, he was back in. But Trent Green had plenty of time to throw it, and he just threw a duck. That thing just died on him like a drop.
Dead duck.
With a split-fingered fastball.
Third and 10. And Green for Parker. And that's knocked away. Lenny Walls, the 6'4" corner, did the job, and Al Wilson came in to make Green pay the price.
I mean, one thing about this Denver defense, they're going after Trent Green the whole game. You see Al Wilson on the blitz coming right up the middle. He wasn't blocked, but Trent Green still gets this off and makes a pretty good throw. Lenny Walls got his hand in there. He didn't get turned around. He didn't touch anything. He just got the ball.
4th and 10. Everybody comes. Pass is caught, and Parker breaks. Walls is tackling and scores. So everybody was coming. Walls had him before he could have gotten the first down, but he broke the tackle and gets into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bad one on Lenny Walls, because, you know, we talked about corners and cover corners and things you have to do. You have to be able to cover, but then when the guy catches the ball, you have to tackle him. And I think that this is the inconsistent type of play that Mike Shanahan was talking about, and that's why Lenny Walls isn't starting anymore.
Right, he's not starting, but he may have to get his starting job back now that Champ Bailey can't start. They'll go with Williams on one side and maybe Walls on the other next week when they go to Jacksonville. Lawrence Tynes for the point after, and that comes as the 2-minute warning is upon us. Be forewarned. Be warned. 2 minutes to go. 30-10.
La pasión por el fútbol americano comienza con los niños. El programa NFL Youth les brinda la oportunidad de aprender jugando. Un deporte al alcance de todos.
La pasión comienza contigo.
Amon Green, Brett Favre, and the Packers head to Carolina to battle Steve Smith and the Panthers. Monday Night Football, next Monday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC.
From Denver, Monday Night Football being brought to you by Ford F-150, built Ford tough. The new Budweiser Select, brewed for a crisp taste that finishes clean. Be selective. And VCast from Verizon Wireless. It's broadband quality video on your phone. Goodyear providing the aerial shots tonight. Invesco Field at Mile High. Take a look at what's been happening tonight. That Denver defense all over Trent Green all night long. Mike Anderson with a burst here, got into the end zone to get Denver off and running. Jake Plummer has gone for one and rushed for another. 13 of 18 is the Snake tonight. 30-10 Denver. They've dominated all the way. Sammy Parker with that touchdown, and that would be Green's first touchdown of the season.
Sammy Parker made a heck of a catch on that thing because it was kind of thrown behind him, and looked like Lenny Walls kind of gave up, like he didn't think that he caught the ball, and then Sammy Parker comes and spins out and goes in for a touchdown.
So Walls on the bench. Kansas City will attempt an onside kick here. Lawrence Tynes will set it up. Has to go 10 yards.
And you expect it to come over here to this side.
To go 10 yards unless a Bronco touches it first. And that one will go out of bounds, so that didn't work. Meanwhile, the HS, you've been seeing the decal.
Kick out of bounds. Ball belongs to the receiving team. The spot where it went out of bounds. First down.
HS decal on the back of the Kansas City helmets in honor of Hank Stram, who passed away during the offseason. The great Hank Stram, who guided the Chiefs to the Super Bowl title in Super Bowl IV over the Vikings.
Yeah, and Hank Stram was also in Super Bowl I.
Super Bowl I against Green Bay.
Green Bay Packers.
That's right. Some people forget it was Green Bay against Kansas City in the Los Angeles Coliseum in January of '67, with about 30,000 seats that were available.
Hank was a heck of a guy. I mean he was a great coach, but he was a good guy.
And
it was fun to be around.
When you think of Hank, you think of this.
Let's go, boys. Hey, let's go, man. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys. The ball jumped out of there as soon as we made contact.
I thought you were talking about you being on the field.
No. What? Gloucester, tell him 65 toss power trap. Get in there for 65 toss power trap. 65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
You know, I got a chance to work with him the one year I did regional football at CBS in 1975. So we're doing a game. They assigned him to a game in Kansas City, and he'd been fired. And Paul Wiggin was the coach, and he wouldn't go to the stadium to meet with Wiggin. He sent me. He wouldn't go. I get back to the hotel. He's waiting for me. He said, "What did he do with the couch?" He wanted to know where all the furniture was in his office.
I mean, Hank had to have the biggest, best office in the history of head football coaches.
Unbelievable.
Remember one time we coached the Pro Bowl, and I was the coach of the AFC, and we played in Kansas City, so we used their facilities. And I got to use Hank's office and Hank's dressing room, and I thought, geez, this is like a country club or something. But you know what he did? He had that room tapped. I swear, I'm in there with the quarterbacks, and we're going over plays, and I hear this voice come, and it's Hank. That play's never going to work. That play's no good. I said, Hank, you got this thing bugged. Now it's a Pro Bowl.
Oh, my God. That was Henry. 3rd down and 4. Most times they count off the clock, and that's going to let a finish to it. Tatum Bell. And the other thing that Hank used to love to do, of course, is sit out by the pool, put all that bear grease on him, and that's why Hank always had the greatest hand you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, Hank worked at that.
Post-game show coming up, the Autotrader.com post-game show. Highlights and interviews, and the horse trailer player of the game to be named. Santana Moss last week. Who will it be?
I don't know. Do you have any nominations?
Well, let me think. I mean, defensively, I mean, Trevor Price, we've been talking about him all night long.
Yeah, I have to go that way, too. I mean, if it's just one player, it has to be Trevor Price.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he was in Trent Green's face all night long. A lot of penalties were called when guys were holding Trevor Price. Dick Vermeil will go back to Kansas City with his ball club, having been dominated tonight. And for Dick, 0 for 5 now as the Chiefs coach in Mile High. Denver wins it 30-10. Autotrader.com post-game show on the other side of this break.
Want to get a lot of people looking at your used car? Then list it at the #1 place people look for used cars. Autotrader.com. It's the best place for your car to get noticed by serious car buyers. Autotrader.com. The smarter way to buy and sell a car.
They are the kings and queens, the potentates of the road. We recognize them by their restless wing-tipped feet. We support them with new, thicker mattresses and lay the freshest fine white linens at their feet, an offering of respect. Our beds, ourselves, we've changed it all for them. Rest well, my liege. Rest well.
The President of the United States.
You want her gone just as much as I do.
I'm going to run this government.
We can save this country. We can save it from her.
If you want out, you tell me now.
Commander-in-Chief premieres tomorrow 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Denver, before the first quarter was over tonight, had a big lead, 17-0. Elam started it with a field goal, and the first touchdown was this, a 44-yard run by Mike Anderson to make it 10-0. Before the period was done, Rod Smith caught this pass off the play fake from Jake Plummer, rolling to his right, finding the great one in the end zone. It was 20-0 before Kansas City even scored. And then Plummer on this 1-yard run in the third quarter pretty much wrote a finish to it. That made it 27-3. Late touchdown from Green to Sammy Parker. Walls couldn't make the tackle as the Chiefs got into the end zone at the end. Final score, Denver 30, Kansas City 10. Trevor Price, a tremendous night along the defensive front for the Denver Broncos. Big-time defensive performance by Price, by the Denver D. And let's go to Sam Ryan.
All righty, Al, it's Jake Plummer, Trevor Price. Jake, the Kansas City defense allowed offenses just to 24 points combined in 2 games coming in. What made your offense successful tonight?
Well, we got the run game going, and our defense, Trevor leading the way, dominated them offense on the other side of the ball, and we ran the ball well, which opened up the boots, the play action, and guys made plays, and that's really what it was about.
You're talking about opening up the boot. You specialize in the bootleg. You had a boot there on that touchdown. Why did it take 3 games to get it going?
Well, the run game, we kept working hard. We played some tough defenses. These guys are good defense, but we just kept pushing our linemen, our fullback, our running backs, our receivers to keep blocking, give those guys a gap, and Mike Anderson ran hard. Grondin ran hard. Tatum ran hard. I didn't do much, but just guide them down the field. So after Trevor and them dominated on defense, it was easy for us.
Well, Trevor, he's given you a lot of props over here. Last year, you were limited to 2 games because of injuries. After the Miami game, this defense was hearing it from the critics. What did you guys prove tonight?
I think we proved that we can play with the best of them. That's the best offense in the NFL, made no doubt about it. But when our offense gets them behind the 8 ball like that and they have to throw every down, it just becomes easy, start teeing off every play. So my hat's off to them. Without them, I'm telling you, we wouldn't be the defense we are.
And you were playing with them with Will Shields, the 10-time Pro Bowler. What made you successful against him tonight?
I've known Will for 9 years, and every time we play, we get it on pretty good. So Will's one of the great players in this league, and I think, again, when they got so far behind and they have those second-team tackles, they're not in sync the way they usually are. But, it was our night tonight, so we had a good time.
Certainly was. Al, let's send it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. 30-10, the Denver Broncos dominate. They go to 2-1. And are tied with Kansas City on top in the AFC West. We go to Charlotte next week. It's Green Bay against Carolina on Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific time. Until then, Al Michaels, John Madden, Sam Ryan, and our entire ABC Sports crew saying so long from Denver.
Two of the most thrilling premieres are only on ABC.
Will you marry me? Is that a yes?
Last season, you never expected the life or death cliffhanger.
Love you.
I love you too.
But this season, an expect more.
I'm pregnant.
Jennifer Garner stars in the season premiere of Alias. A brand new life begins.
I'm not safe. Neither is my baby.
Thursday at 8/7 Central. Alias. And at 9/8 Central, the thrills continue. The mysteries unfold.
I think you're going to want to see this.
As reporter Carl Kolchak seeks the answers to the questions that haunt him.
What if everything we fear is real?
Stuart Townsend, Gabrielle Union.
Something terrible is happening.
From the executive producer of The X-Files, the series premiere of Night Stalker. The most thrilling night of television. Thursday starting at 8/7 Central. Only on ABC.
You think about the things people do to pursue their passion and how far they can go when they're confident in their equipment. You think about that, then you build the only SUV with legendary Volvo safety, the Volvo XC90.
American Family stays in step with the Perez family.
In the 10 years we've been married, we have owned 3 homes, about 15 cars, and we have 2 beautiful children.
Just in general, with home life, a lot of changes. American Family has been really good. They answer all my questions and take care of all my problems. It's really quick.
Knowing that we have the right coverage, that makes me feel secure.
Is your insurance keeping pace? Call American Family.
American Family Insurance.
With available voice-activated DVD nav, rain-sensing windshield wipers, and seating for 8, the V8-powered Lexus GX is the most luxurious driving experience.
Welcome. How was your trip?
Great. See Cooney Lexus and Stevenson Lexus.
The grit and determination to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. That's what it took to build the Great West. And the healthcare challenges facing American business demand nothing less. Great West. New ideas from the frontier of healthcare.
Colorado's #1 evening news team. This is 7 News.
Here's Anderson breaking one. Anderson inside the 10, touchdown.
A huge night full of huge plays. The Broncos run all over the Kansas City Chiefs. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Landis.
Good evening. I'm Ann Trujillo. Nothing like a W on Monday Night Football in front of a national audience. 7 Sports anchor Lionel Bienvenu joins us now.
They were supposed to win by 3, maybe. They sent a very clear message.
Well, the message is, I think, they're not the team that got blown out in Miami. They are a team that's going to contend for the AFC West title after this one. Now, the Monday night question is the same every week. Are you ready for some football? The Broncos' answer tonight, we believe, was yes. Ready was an understatement. The Broncos jumped all over the Chiefs early, often, and repeatedly. The Broncos were so ready, they scored a touchdown in the pregame introductions. Monday Night Football, first quarter, already 10-0 Broncos. Terrific play fake by Jake. Rod Smith just a little bit open. 17-0 Broncos. Rod over the 10,000-yard mark in his career. Third quarter, another great fake. This game was called beautifully by Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan. Jake ran it in himself. It was 27-3, a beating of epic proportions. Broncos now 2-1, 2-0 in the AFC West, beating the Chiefs in front of everybody in the world, 30-10. Steve Gottsagen, live at Invesco Field. Only 3 games in, Steve, but it's never too early to enjoy the words first place. Broncos sit atop the AFC West.
Yeah, Lionel, and you wonder what happened to that team that played against the Dolphins in Miami in that first half against the Chargers, because this was a completely different team that came out here and completely dominated this game here at Invesco Field. And I don't think the Chiefs want to come back here. You know, 5 times here at Invesco Field, they have never won. But total domination, like we've been talking about, offense, defense, special teams. And afterwards, we caught up with Ebenezer Ekubon, and obviously he's enjoying this big win by the Broncos.
Oh, man, I tell you, it was fun, man. It was a great game for us to come out and show what we can do defensively, and offense did a great job of keeping that clock running, and it allowed us to get pressure on the quarterback when the opportunity presented itself.
People talk about the Chiefs being the high-powered offense and have the two-headed backs of Larry Johnson and Priest Holmes, but you guys completely shut down that unit.
Well, you know what? When all three phases come to play, special teams, especially when you have a guy like Dante Hall, if we can keep him contained, we're going to have a chance. And it's important for the defense to stop the run. They're going to get their passes because they just have their aerial threat. But if we stop Priest Holmes, we're going to be in games 50% of the time.
Teams talk. Well, like I said, they stopped Priest Holmes, they stopped Larry Johnson, they stopped Tony Gonzalez, they stopped Trent Green. I could go down the line, Lionel, but actually I'm heading inside the locker room, get some more sound, and we'll talk to you later on.
All right, Steve, thanks a lot. Mike Anderson, 98 yards rushing. He outrushed Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson, who had 74 yards combined. And Jake did not make a mistake, which was huge as well.
Yeah.
Big. All right, thanks a lot, Lionel.
Thanks. Well, Denver fans got to be the first in the country to help Monday Night Football open their show.
And a special star asked that all-important question. Yep, that's The Rock kicking off the first of Monday Night Live. The fans in the stands waved their orange pom-poms. The Monday Night Football folks did this live open in Denver. They say it's because our fans are so great. Coming up later in sports, we get player reaction live from the locker room.
Poor security and careless beer sales are the reasons for a lawsuit against the Colorado Rockies.
Tonight, more people are coming forward to support a Longmont man and his son who were assaulted at a baseball game last April. 7 News anchor Teresa Marchetta first brought us that story. She's live at Coors Field tonight with an update.
Well, Mike, both men in that incident back last April were convicted of assault, but Jeff Black wants to do more. He wants changes that will protect fans like here at Coors Field and professional venues across the country, and he's soliciting help at all levels to make that happen.
I've had near physical confrontations down there with other people over those kinds of things.
Mike Mills has been a season ticket holder since the Rockies' first game. He says foul language, behavior, and alcohol-related problems are not uncommon.
It's no fun bringing my wife or my kids and having a good chance of something like that happening.
Mills heard about Jeff Black's lawsuit against the Rockies and contacted him immediately.
We don't believe that they're adhering to their own policies, as in the Rockies case where they didn't keep their fans in their ticketed seats, where they didn't provide adequate security, and we don't believe that Aramark's holding to their own policies of serving a limited number of drinks to any individual.
Inside Edition recently did their own investigation and found the service limit was almost never enforced in the stands. This reporter purchased 8 beers in a half hour. The Marin Institute, an alcohol industry watchdog group, is supporting Black's efforts, calling for concessionaire Aramark to be tossed from sporting venues. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers has also joined the cause. The Rockies have insisted the incident was handled properly from the beginning. Now, we did speak with the Rockies earlier tonight, and they did not want to comment on this lawsuit because they say the litigation is still pending. Black says, however, if he does win a judgment in this case, he will donate all of the proceeds to a nonprofit prevention group. He says what he really wants to see here is change, better monitoring of fan behavior in the stands, and better regulation of alcohol sales to intoxicated fans. Live outside Coors Field, Teresa Marchetta, 7 News.
Thanks, Teresa. New tonight, liquor tastings will be sticking around in Denver. A new state law allows liquor stores like Argonaut to offer alcohol tastings. This video was from one of the first samplings back in June.
We've found it to be a great selling tool, and the customers love it. It's been total upside, no downside at all for me.
Tonight, Denver City Council introduced a bill to allow liquor tastings to last beyond the initial 6-month trial period. Other communities set up their own rules.
Aurora City Council wants to vote on a pit bull ban. Tonight they discussed that idea. 7 News reporter Dale Cedars joins us live from Aurora. Dale, more and more attacks are fueling the support for this ban.
Mike, Aurora officials say pit bulls have bitten more people within their city than any other breed of dog. In fact, they tell us that they've impounded more pit bulls than any other breed. One city councilman is afraid that the city of Aurora is going to become a dumping ground for this breed of dog if they don't do something about it. So tonight, they took action.
Sierra? Call your dog's name. Sierra?
Randy McCoy and his pit bull Sierra are in training. The same day, a judge ruled that she would not be put to sleep.
I get to keep her, and there's going to be a lot of training, not just with the dog, but with me too. I've learned I've actually a pretty horrible owner.
Sierra is only one of many pit bulls under a microscope in Aurora, while the city is looking at a possible ban.
Irresponsible owners will be subject to having their animals taken away.
The city council is now weighing in on a pit bull ban that would allow certain pits to stay as long as the owner follows certain restrictions, such as being at least 21 years old, paying a $700 annual license fee, muzzling the dog when away from home, and carrying liability insurance of at least $100,000.
We think we're doing the right thing. There'll be some tweaking of the ordinance, and then council still has another chance to think about what will happen.
Of course, many pit bull owners feel that this ban is unfair and that these restrictions are unnecessary. The City Council of Aurora, though, obviously feels otherwise and voted tonight to move some type of ban forward. A public hearing and a final City Council vote must take place, though, before this becomes law. Reporting live in Aurora, Dale Cedars, 7 News.
Hurricane Rita is responsible for taking 9 lives. And while the deaths have been limited, the damage is severe. In Lake Charles, Louisiana, aerial pictures give you an idea of just how much water remains. The city will be off limits to the vast majority until at least next week. Now, we're hearing some stories of those who waited out the storm in their homes.
Back door was broke out, had no chance.
A father and son shot this home video during the hurricane. They were able to get out of the home through the attic and waited until help arrived. In Pleasure Island, Texas, siding peeled off homes, roofs are missing, and there is extensive flooding damage once you go inside. Many people found nothing to save, and coming up at 10:15, Lionel Bienvenu takes us on his journey back to his family home in St. Bernard Parish, just outside New Orleans.
There are more police officers patrolling the campus at CSU these days. Covering Colorado in 7 News, Colorado State has hired 8 more full-time officers and could hire another 2 as well, and very soon. CSU says the expanded force increases a presence in the residence halls, and it allows officers to connect more with the students. Aurora police have now determined the body found inside the trunk of a car was a man. Police are still waiting for the cause of death, but it will conduct an extensive search of that car to find more clues. Gigi Dennis is now officially Colorado's Secretary of State. She's a former state senator from Pueblo. Dennis vowed to work hard to implement new voting reforms demanded by Congress after the 2000 election.
President Bush is asking Americans to cut back on some driving until the U.S. oil industry can catch up. Covering America on 7 News tonight, the Energy Department says 3 of the 4 major gasoline pipelines are not fully operational because of Rita. In Georgia, schools are closed for 2 days to save fuel. Anti-war activist Cindy Sheehan is lifted out of a protest and taken off to jail. Police warned her she was violating the law by sitting out in front of the White House. Eventually, police carried her off to jail. And Army PFC Linda England is found guilty for her role in photos taken of detainee abuse in Iraq's Abu Ghraib prison. Now the case moves to the sentencing phase, where she faces 9 years in prison.
In Iraq, a suicide bomber kills 7 policemen and 3 government workers. Covering the world on 7 News, that bomber attacked a police checkpoint in Baghdad this morning. 18 others were also injured in that blast. In Australia, a man is taken to the hospital after surviving a shark attack. He's the 2nd surfer to be bitten in just 2 days. He was on Kangaroo Island in South Australia when a white shark measuring up to 16 feet bit his surfboard and got him too. It's one of the strongest typhoons to hit southern China's Hainan Island in more than 30 years. The storm made landfall on Monday morning, China time. No word yet on any injuries.
Hurricane Katrina made landfall weeks ago, and the devastation it caused is still being felt. When we come back, Lionel Bienvenu takes along as he tries to get to his family home outside New Orleans.
The woman who wanted to be a cool mom is in more hot water tonight. We have the story.
And the weather conditions beautiful today, but it looks like things are going to be changing tomorrow as storms come in from the west ahead of a cold front. We'll have the 7-day forecast in just a bit.
You're watching Mike Landis and Ann Trujillo. This is 7 News at 10.